From Sports Chat Place and PickDogs.com, I got Steve Monahan and the Puck Dogs with me, following up probably our really a show about nothing yesterday. We've had a few of those lately, and I think we're going to follow it up on that same theme today. I know Rod had some good sports-related topics, but we'll save those. You know, we've got time. That's one thing we've got. And one thing that I have going on today is I have two different things. Number one, I talked a little bit about one of the new brands that I'm looking about doing, and I have a name for that brand, and it's Betting Badass. But aside from that, I'm trying to get MitchWilson.com, and somebody else owns that, and so they're trying to sell it to me, and it's like I don't even know what a domain is worth. I've been doing this for 13 years. I've never bought a domain from somebody else, you know. So it's like I've never really thought there's much to it. Sports Chat Place was a name that was picked out by my tech guy at the time because I couldn't think of a name. So that's how I ended up with Sports Chat Place. Pick Dogs was just something that came in off the top of my head. I had a site called Fantasy Dogs that I had started with a friend of mine several years ago, and we had this logo, and it was Fantasy Dogs. And I was like, oh, man, I should just do Pick Dogs. And it wasn't taken. So it was pretty easy. Actually, the original name of Pick Dogs, just like the original name of Sports Chat Place, was first Miami Mitch's Place. Then it was, which was MiamiMitch.com. Then it was College Football Place. And then it became and then it was College Basketball Place. And then there was Sports Chat Place. So that's how that one happened. Pick Dogs was Fantasy Dogs. It became Pick Dogs. But originally, the original name of Pick Dogs was going to be was Picks A to Z. And then there was also A to Z Picks. So I still might do those sites. I have those URLs. And so I think those are all pretty good names. But my next project is going to be Betting Badass. But I wanted to get MitchWilson.com. Someone has it. They use it for like their family pictures that they haven't updated in like 15 years. The guy wants to sell it to me, and I don't even know how much it costs. But so this is what's going on in my world today. I saw that we have a ton of Sims games out there today. We also have Chinese basketball or Taiwanese basketball and Belarus soccer and all kinds of stuff. But I have been I have the cable guy coming at 8 a.m. my time. Yeah, cable guy's coming. What we're going to do is rewire the Wi-Fi in the house and put it into the studio, into the new studio. So I can hardwire in so we're not going to have a connection problem. At least we're going to try and do it. It should be pretty interesting. My guess is it's going to cost
be there at 8 o'clock.
What's that?
What makes you think he'll be there at 8 o'clock?
It's got to be the first appointment of the day. If they gave me 8 to 9, it's got to be. So
he can show up at 8:59.
I doubt
it. Be there before.
I doubt it. I'm going to guess that I'm going to be first. I'm going to guess.
Should have an over/under on this one.
I love the under because I got to say that number one, I'm an excellent tipper, and my reputation precedes me that every time these guys come over here, no one greases the cable man like I do. And number two, and they're not allowed to accept tips, so they never accept it. Anyways, number two is that a lot of our local economy and the need on the regular cable, because this isn't DirecTV, this is just regular cable, which is Spectrum. No, I'm not plugging them or not plugging them. I'm just saying that's who it is. The regular cable is Spectrum, and the bulk of the people that I think that use cable here are vacation rentals. So all those vacation rentals are empty.
All right.
So I'm going to guess that there's
lots of time.
Yeah, these guys he's gonna stay for breakfast. Is more than likely what's going to happen.
So he'll be there. He'll be there at 7:50, ready to go.
Yeah, I'll get the call around 7:50. Is my guess.
At this point, he's going to be a guest on tomorrow's show.
I think he's going to be pretty excited because I actually have a really big project for him because the line is over there and it's like where I need it is all the way on the. It couldn't be like my house is not that big, but it couldn't get any further away from where it is right now. And a lot of these walls, like this one right here, is concrete. So it's like this is cinder block. This goes out to the garage. So I don't know how they're going to do this, but my guess is they're going to run the cable across the roof or around the top of the roof, and I might have to pay for a whole new cable setup. I'm going to guess that that's what they're going to get me. It's going to be an extra, whatever a month. But speaking of cable, this is that time where we were all kind of like watching a lot of programs. We were going to talk about sports, but I really wanted to talk about this today, and I didn't even tell the guys what my idea is. So it is what it is. But I know that everyone watching is going to have an opinion on this too, so feel free to pump them in because we're going to have a lot of things to talk about here. So there's a lot of shows out there and a lot of movies that I hadn't seen. There's a lot of them out there, and I've watched a lot of them. Like, what was it? Like 3 years ago, 4 years. So 4 years ago, when we redid the house after we moved into this house in 2015. We waited about a year to figure out exactly what we wanted to do with the house, and then we basically gutted the living area. So we moved out, and we moved into a place that had bad cable, right? So we binge watched Mad Men on the iPad. Okay, so Mad Men was the show I always wanted to see, and it was kind of one of those things that was kind of like, when's it on? It's like sometimes it's hard to catch up. And Breaking Bad was another one of those shows for me. So Breaking Bad was I had a time, where I was flying a lot. It's usually in the fall, I'm flying back and forth to Vegas. So it's like, it's perfect if you can get a series that's like that. And it's like, you might not, you might lose some continuity, but basically, over enough trips, you see the whole series. And it's not like you have to sit around your house with the iPad watching it because you're just glued, right? So I had those two, and it's like, I'm really glad I did because now I watch Better Call Saul, and it's like, the season finale is on a Monday. I'm excited, right? It's like, it's funny because our friend Rob Peters works at the Wild Card Gym with Freddie Roach, and like celebrities are there all the time. Like, you ever seen the Pacquiao, those HBO specials? There's always like all kinds of celebrities there, like Mark Wahlberg and Jeremy Piven when Entourage was big, and all kinds of guys like that constantly in and out of the gym. Guys training for movies, where they're playing an athletic part or box part, all kinds of stuff. But the only guy who ever got those guys really excited about being there was Saul Goodman. They're just like, Saul Goodman's here. And like, Rob calls me. It's like, Saul Goodman's here. And it's like, so excited, And this was, before Better Call Saul. This was in the Breaking Bad, earlier days. But, so I've watched a few of these shows now. I never had Netflix before. So I got Netflix. I have Apple TV, so I have Amazon Prime Video too. So I know that these guys are watching shows. We're all doing the same thing, right? We're all like digging. So I have to say that I watched The Irishman, loved it. I thought it was a little slow in parts, I think that they could have. I don't have a problem with the overall length of the movie. It's shorter than Schindler's List, right? I mean, it's like, it is compelling, but I just felt that some of the parts were a little slower moving and maybe unnecessary. And I thought that, I don't think that the movie should have been shorter or anything like that. I just think that these parts were just a little slower. And I think over the course of any movie like that, and I'm sure they left hours of it on the floor in the cutting room as well, enough to make another movie. I'm sure they did. But, some of the other stuff I watched the Love is Blind, right? On I don't know if that was on Netflix or Prime. I watched that one. That was a nice little program. Really, anytime you get a reality show that you have a problem drinker on, generally you're going to get some good TV there. So the one that I'm struggling with, and the reason why I wanted to do this is Ozark, right? I'm struggling with it. I'm watching it. A lot of people love this show, right? They say this is a great show. You got to see Ozark, whatever. I am struggling with this thing. I'm in episode 5 of season 2. I started about 2 weeks ago, And normally, if it's a compelling, great series like a Breaking Bad, you can't wait for the next episode. With this one, I've fallen asleep watching it 3 times. So it's dark, and I don't mean that it's a dark story. I mean that it's dark to watch it on TV. I can't see what the hell's going on, on the TV. I think that mood music, it works well for me, especially like in horror movies, like, when you used to watch Jason and, all these things, right? And you hear like, uh-oh, right? The Halloween, the music, Omen, right? The Gregory Peck Omen. It's like that music terrifies you. But this one, it's constant throughout the entire show, so it totally loses the effect. Jason Bateman, is awesome. We've seen him in so many different, in everything he's been in, right? It's like he can do anything. The Horrible Bosses, right? He does, whatever. It doesn't matter what he's in. It generally is our type of movie, right? But he's kind of lost me here. I don't know, Steve. I know you watch those. What? Tell me. Is there something? Is there something that I'm building up to here that don't spoil it for me? But
no, I'm actually having a problem with my Netflix because I'm on season 1. It started episode 7, and my freaking Netflix thing keeps spinning and spinning and spinning, and I'm having a little issue. But I've liked season 1. I've gotten to, like I said, episode 7. I'm enjoying it, but I can see your point about it being dark. The Irishman, I love The Irishman. I'm fascinated with mob history and things like that. So, Goodfellas, Casino, The Godfather, those type of movies, those are right up there, one of my favorites of all time.
So Pesci turned down that role in Irishman 50 times. He was offered literally 50 times. He was offered that role.
He was great.
They turned it down. He was fantastic.
I actually think Al Pacino did a good job as Jimmy Hoffa.
Yep.
The guy who played Tony Provenzano, like the scene in jail, when, him and Pacino go at it. I thought it was really funny. And then they had the makeup meeting, when they both got out of jail. It was long, but again, like I said, that I was intimately familiar with the characters in that, so I enjoyed The Irishman. A little slow, I agree as well, that there were some parts that were maybe a little bit unnecessary. A friend of mine, from a woman's standpoint, she's touting this series Outlander. And apparently that is, if you want to connect with your wife or your girlfriend, that's a highly recommended thing. It's a love story thing, going back in time, things like that. So I haven't seen Outlander, but,
See, on the going back in time, I really liked Mrs. Maisel. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I binge watched Mrs. Maisel, and I thought it was great. Kevin Pollak's in it.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Very good. Set in the 50s, Lenny Bruce character is in that. Really, I highly recommend it.
So funny. It's like, of course I understand. I'm a New York Times published author. Like, I say that to my wife all the time. It's like, of course I understand. I'm a New York Times published author. It's like,
so that was on.
They're like asking him. He's like at some event, like a bar mitzvah or a funeral or something, and it's like, aren't you a little surprised? Well, they did publish it. Really, they're asking about something totally different. They did get it published fast with very little editing. It's like you have to see it.
Tony Shalhoub
is awesome.
He's great at it.
It is. I can't wait for the next season of it. And I have to say that each season of that, totally kind of different sets. That they kind of switch in and out of different places, and it still works. It's just really good. Really, really.
Yeah, I think that's on Amazon, but I would recommend that too. Somebody said this Tiger King, which
love Tiger King.
I must say,
love it.
So I got things that I got to see stuff. So
Chris,
Tiger King.
Chris is smiling with the Tiger King. Joe Exotic, little Joe Exotic for you.
Well, I almost asked for that haircut the other day when I was trying to get my hair cut, but no, my fiance, I asked her about Ozark. She said the second and third seasons where it starts to pick up. So, because she blew through it in about 2 weeks, and I was like, we're trying to get. We just got Disney Plus, and I had never seen any of the older Star Wars movies, so I was going through those first, and then going through some of the nature stuff on there. I've been using Netflix to watch my stand-up comedy specials that I hadn't seen up to now, so I use it to sort of streaming services to find like catching up on like the last few seasons, like Top Chef and stuff like that. So
You got to see Sebastian Maniscalco's stand-up stuff if you haven't
Yeah,
read.
that stuff's great.
Real good.
We love Sebastian, that's for sure. He's also been in a lot of movies too. He was in Irishman, and
He was.
Green
Like
Book.
Crazy Joe Gallo.
Yep.
He was in it for like 10 minutes.
Yep. He was in Green Book.
He was in Green Book. Great role, too. Yeah.
Yep. He's been in a few different movies, but he's also like his stand-up stuff's hilarious. It's been on Chipotle, Subway, Uber. Those are just, classic stuff. You know, it's like
Going to the auto
give
body
me-
shop with
give me his best line, I think, in the Subway one. Give me the double the meat with no veggies. You know, it's like you can't do that. It's like it doesn't work like that. You have to see it. But Rod, what are you watching these days?
Well, I'm with you. I watched the Ozarks. I motored through season 1. I thought it was pretty good. But now I'm stuck where you are. It's season 2. It just there's points where it's like, what's going on in there?
Yeah, I don't even understand what's going on at half these points. And part of it is that I've fallen asleep halfway through, but it's like I don't even. It just, like I said, it's super dark, and I don't mean like people are like, oh, it's a dark story, and it's like, yeah, I get that part, but it's also so dark on TV, I can't even see who's on there on the screen.
I can't even see
most of
who's
the time.
on there. Yeah.
But we did see Jason
I've got-
Bateman at the driving range there, and that guy has just an unbelievable golf swing, as good as any pro on tour. You know, if you've ever seen like the pro-am event, Bateman's usually right at the top of the leaderboard. Yeah,
But
so,
I think Netflix, Steve, is the reason why it's going blue, 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 because mine was doing that the other day. I think because everybody's on it now. Like, how many people are on Netflix all at once at a certain time of day?
yeah, I guess I mostly watch it at what would be off times for most people. You know.
Yeah, because you got a 4-hour difference, it's bigger difference. But for us over here, it's like all of a sudden Netflix went from having 2 million people watching it to all of a sudden now we got 50 million at this time watching it. So my mind did the same thing. I was trying to watch, and then it starts doing that, and I'm like, I just turn it off.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not sitting here for half an hour watching it. You watch 5 minutes and it does it again. And you're like, oh, this is getting annoying.
Yeah, exactly right.
Talk sports.
So, yeah.
If there was sports to talk, we would talk it. I mean, that's for sure. We've kind of mixed it in, but it's like I think that we did a couple days of like greatest games ever and all this other stuff, greatest streaks and stuff. We'll mix that stuff back in, but it's kind of like I think at this point I would love to talk about some kind of news, from sports. When right now, I have to say that I've been super upbeat through this whole thing, and even I'm starting to lose a little momentum here. And it's like I don't want to be like Debbie Downer, and it's like any of those things, but I have to say that I've been optimistic. I've been super optimistic about it, but now the more that I hear and the more that I see, and the more that I see here too, it just leads me to believe that we're lucky if it's June. So we're like a month away. But as soon as we find out, and of course next week we have the draft. Next Thursday is the draft. So this week coming up, there'll be a lot of draft news, and I'm going to live draft. And if any of these guys want to join me for the first round or whatever, and pop in and out, I don't care. I'll be here through the entire first round, and I don't know if I'll be here the next days as well, but I might be because I got nothing else to do. They here's a couple things that happened here which are kind of like more depressing than anything. So before you could exercise and walk on the beach. I mean, the other day I was on Instagram with Sam on the beach. I was throwing the ball. Now they've closed the beaches for that. You can only use the beach as a walkway to get into the water. And it's like we have less than 1% of our entire population of the island is infected. And most of the people that have been infected, so they had this thing where at the hospital, they didn't allow the workers to wear the masks unless they were like a certain kind of mask, and like they were kind of like holding out on the mask that they had so they could say, we need support, we need more masks so everyone can get masks or something, right? So what ends up happening is then you have these clusters at the hospital of people that are infected. So it's like the staff of the hospital gets infected. And that's like more than half of our cases on the island are people that were working at the hospital that weren't allowed to wear their own masks.
Right.
So it's like our numbers have increased. Yeah, they were all in the same building, It's like, so it just seems that, mistakes there. And it's almost like I'm starting to get the feeling, the reason why I say that, I'm less positive than I was is because I'm starting to feel like we're being punished. At one thing it was kind of like we're all in this together and we're all doing it and we're all going. But now it's starting to feel like, well, you guys didn't do a good enough job. It's like it's like I live in Hawaii. I'm white as a sheet. I mean, what more can I possibly do? And it's like, there has to be some. If there's give, there has to be take. And it's like, and we're not seeing it. We're seeing it getting worse. It's like the numbers and everything, they seem to be flatlining. I don't know what's going on in the rest of the country, but I know here it's like I said, outside of that cluster, the cluster at the hospital, we would have had. I think we've had 7 people hospitalized total with the virus on our island, and now they're tightening up the restrictions.
Well, in New York, the governor just, I think yesterday, May 15th, everybody is supposed to, again, stay at home, social distancing, keep, that type of thing. Like we've talked about New Jersey, New York, hotbed. There's still lots of cases out there. But hopefully it's already crested and hopefully it starts, declining and March, by late May, early June, I think to be optimistic, even around here, that life gets back to somewhat normal, and the economy and sports gets back, and regular walks of life, But it's tough. I think a lot of people are really starting to get the cabin fever now, and but it is what it is, So we're all in the same boat.
So when you get a new when you get your new studio, the guys need new sets. That would be nice, yeah. And it's like all that stuff costs money. We're making zero right now. All the money for everything that we're doing is 100% coming out of my pocket. So additional things like that it will happen just over time. It's all really what it is. It's like as we need it. Obviously, people need stuff. I've always covered it throughout the years, But as far as building studios in everybody's houses, I don't think they're going to be doing they don't do 40 videos a day like I do, 3 live shows during the regular time. So as that increases and everything, yeah, of course we will. But it's like right now we're not selling pics, we're not making money on advertising. It's like we're running at a loss. And that's just the way that it is. So I've said all along, we're gonna we'll do what we can to bring up the quality everywhere, not just here, But I think by building the studio here, we'll see where we're going to get the most bang for the buck and effort.
Because we're not jumping to sell stick pics.
What's that?
We're not seeing, like I've seen everybody else now jumping on. Well, a whole bunch of people are selling sim pics, and I'm like, really? You can't sell somebody a sim. I morally, how can you sell somebody a video game pic? Like Just wrong. Like,
People are selling
seriously, what's
sim
wrong with
pics.
you? Yes, people are selling sim pics.
How much does a sim pic
Someone's
cost?
doing a live video daily and giving out a free pic and then going, look, I have premium sim pics. Like, really?
Really?
Wow.
Premium sim pics? Hmm.
So people are doing live sim pics and selling them.
Yeah.
Are there
And
name
selling them.
sites that are doing it?
Yeah, go look at Ghost Pics.
Oh
Ghost
well,
Pics
that's
Jimmy.
not a name site. Those
That
guys.
guy's an I haven't delved in it anymore, but I've
I
seen
didn't.
him.
I thought they were out of business.
Nope, he's selling sim pics.
Jimmy is.
Yeah, he comes and does his. I seen a video popped up, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell's this?"
Because
And
like
I'm like,
I had Jimmy up. Like remember when I used to show the comparison of all the different YouTube channels and stuff, and his numbers
"Yeah,
were getting so low compared to everybody else's that I thought he had stopped doing this stuff. Yeah, Jimmy and
nope,
I
he's
have gone
still."
back and forth over the years. I don't, personally, he's going to do what he wants to do, and I'm going to do what I want to do. We're not like enemies or anything like that, but
Oh,
yeah, a lot of his stuff.
yeah,
Like, there's certain people that's not like we're enemies or whatever. It's just I don't really understand what they're trying to do. It's like Jimmy's been
either. Like,
one of those
what?
people with me for a long time that I don't even understand what they're doing. Is it a business? Is it a hobby? Is it
Yeah,
what? What exactly are you doing? I don't even get it. It's like when I talk about Jimmy, I feel like I need to
with
take my cane
goalie.
and wear it out, or go get a couple more or something. It's like all of a sudden, like Jimmy, like sold a pick. He's wearing a gold chain the next day. It's like I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. It's like,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, Jimmy's one of those guys that it kind of like it's kind of like I think eventually it's like I don't want to trash him because it's like I think eventually we probably will do something together. I'm not really sure what it's going to be, but it's like for me it's like they need to come up with a better game plan over there or a plan or an idea as to what they're doing, before they do anything. But it's like if you're selling Simpics, the picks that have my name on it are my picks. The picks that are we never have committee picks. That's for sure. But on the new premium area, everyone will have their own. All these guys will sell their own picks, their best bets for the day, and all that other stuff. Very fancy, very very fancy. It's going to be the best
sim
premium
pics.
area, I promise. It's going. I'm not going to say that day one it's going to work like a Ferrari or something. But it's going to have hiccups in the first couple of days, like any other tech project. But once it's up and running and we kind of work through these things, it's going to be the best premium area out there. I'm saying that's going to have the most offerings. It's going to have a lot of features that are going to be the best. But I know, like any tech project, until it's up and running, you don't know exactly how it's going to work. It's like you can test and test and test, but until that point, who knows? But it's not like our first rodeo, so. Anyways, so that's what's going on as far as So Shane is saying that they have golfing in Minnesota. No golf here. I'm hoping April 30th, but really, after yesterday's announcement of closing the beaches, I just don't even understand that.
They're fighting over it in Alberta here. They're fighting golf. Because the health people and the government say golf is not an essential service, so it's shut down. And then all the people that work at the golf courses are like, "Hey, we want to open because we're a business and it's a seasonal business, so this is the time." So they're in a big fight
No,
on
I,
whether
I,
the
under,
golf course
I
is
understand. It's
open
like
or not.
but I think that there are parts of golf that they can do to make it more sanitary, to make it to
Yeah,
you know. And one of those things, so like right before they shut everything down, some of the golf courses put foam inserts inside the cup. So instead of the cup being this deep, it was like this deep. And then what else they did is they said that if you hit the ball into the sand, to just pick your ball up and place it 2 feet behind the trap. You get to drop out of the trap like 2 feet. So this way you don't have to rake. So you don't have to pick up the rake and put your hands on it. But if they just gave everybody a rake in their cart, that would solve that problem too. So, the issues are the only common things that are touched on the golf course generally are the flag stick and the rakes.
A ball washer.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't use the ball washers on the court. Never.
Oh, okay.
Never.
So some people use those.
Yeah,
things.
well, I would remove those too. Most of the courses that I play, they give you a towel. They give you a wet towel and a dry towel. So I have my wet towel. I clean my ball off like this, and I'd rather do it that way than ball wash or things. It's like
Can we turn that into a GIF?
What are you doing? Sharing butter.
watching the golf ball. It's like, I played at courses where they have the ball washer in the cart also, But those are all things that like a ball washer. Like I said, they give you a wet towel. It's like problem solved. Like a wet washcloth is really what it's like. And that's
Can't get the spark off the ball.
Well, it's the worst when the ball the ball washer things and your ball's all clean. You pull it out and the ball goes.
Yeah, see, that's what Shane is saying that in Minnesota, no carts, no ball washers, or water stations. Yeah, that's exactly like how they were doing it here. And what they did is instead of water stations, they threw a couple bottled waters in the cooler on the cart.
I know in Vegas, you can't golf in Vegas anymore because my buddy was there and he golfs every day. And he was like, well, I'll just drive. He's in Utah. I know he went to Utah. Utah's allowing golf, so he drove the couple hours to Utah to golf.
I would do it if it was an option for me. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's what he said. He was like, I'm not going to sit here. I want to go golfing. I'll drive the 2 hours to go golfing.
Yeah, I think they will open the golf courses, but we just have like the mayor and the governor here are just. I mean, there's. I have to say the Hawaiian government is absolutely clueless. The mayor of Maui is Shane Victorino's father. Okay, that's who the mayor is.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So his son was a baseball player, so he's the mayor. And the governor of Hawaii is David Ige, who, I mean, this is the same guy that just refused to turn the tourists away. And now we're dealing with the consequences, and it's basically like he's punishing us, like closing the beaches and all this stuff, because you didn't do anything when everybody else was. It was like he's an idiot. It's the same guy that it'll be interesting to see if he's reelected because of the whole telescope thing. Because he told them like, we're not going to do the telescope, and then it's like, we are going to do the telescope. It's like, what we'll do is we'll postpone it 6 months. Like that's going to make a difference. It's like, one thing that we as a non-Hawaiian person living in Hawaii, one thing we don't do is have any kind of an opinion one way or the other on the telescope. It's like that is one argument you don't even want to be. You don't even want. It's like I don't generally like here. I'll say it, hoping there's not too many people locals watching my show, but I'll say the word telescope on the show. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, who are you to talk about the telescope? It's like.
Right.
The reality of it is that, when you look up on the island, I don't know if any of you guys have heard about the telescope, but the telescope is, they want to build this telescope on top of one of the big mountains on the Big Island, and it's sacred ground, But
oh yeah, then you can't put a telescope there.
But they already have telescopes there, so that's the piece of it.
Oh.
But so here's the thing: is that and here's that's why there's all these different sides of the argument. There's not just two sides to the argument and any of that stuff. That's why it's like you don't even want to go near this thing, is because there's already other stuff up there, but there's stuff up there that they don't use, and the stuff they didn't use, they didn't take it down. They're just going to build more, and it's like, it's like, so there's there's like we let it slide on our sacred ground once, you're not going to do it again. There's the, clean your shit up, and then you could put more stuff, people, and but it's craziness, it's been craziness for a while. But this whole, like, not allowed on the beach thing and all that other stuff, I just feel at this point that we're being punished, and it's like, I haven't done anything wrong, No one here has done anything, and it's like, you're punishing us, and it's like, what are you punishing us? Like, stupid. I don't think David Ige will be the governor of Maui or governor of Hawaii next election. I don't. But so any other TV series that I should be watching out there? Any movies? I know tonight the movie on HBO is Stuber. Never saw that one. I'm gonna maybe give it a try.
I liked it. I liked it from when I saw it. It was pretty funny.
What shows are you watching, Chris? Have you seen Love is Blind?
No, I've heard about it. I was thinking about giving that a try. I was thinking about giving The Circle a try too. The Circle's like that, sort of the same premise, but what else?
How about Afterlife? Ricky Gervais.
I've never been much of a Ricky Gervais fan, but I might give that a try.
I gave it a try. I found it just a depressing topic.
Okay.
But it's some comedy in it, but a depressing topic.
Yeah, I'm still on the early stages of Grey's Anatomy. I'm trying to pull through that. So, but
Grey's Anatomy. Oh, you're still on that. That's been on like 20-something seasons.
Yeah, I just decided to start from the beginning. I'd never really put much attention into it.
Wow,
so
that's some dedication.
Season 1.
Right. That's like when you get it through that series. It's like, I did it. When you get to that series finale. Yes.
Curb Your Enthusiasm finished a couple weeks ago. So Larry David fans, I'm a huge Curb fan. So yeah, I think that's 10 episodes. So that'll kill some time.
It was a good season. Curb. This last season was a good one. There's going to do. I guess they're going to continue doing it.
I mean, he prints money, Larry David. So
his stuff is good. His stuff is funny.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like the show is so good, he gets a lot of people that want to be on the show.
Oh yeah.
That's
true. A lot of guest appearances. Yeah.
Yep.
And Billions starts, I think, first week of May. So on Showtime. Huge Billions fan. So
I like Billions. I didn't like last season, but I generally liked it.
Yeah. So Billions is starting and Homeland's wrapping up. I think Homeland's got...
Not one of my shows. What's Homeland?
Homeland's on Showtime, season 7. Claire Danes plays a CIA officer, and so dodging bullets and spies and all this stuff. And it's a good show. I highly recommend Homeland.
How about Barry? Do you guys watch Barry? I love Barry. Henry Winkler.
No, I haven't. Nope.
Barry's a good one. If you haven't seen Barry.
Oh yeah, Barry. I love Barry. Yeah. Totally.
Barry's really good. That's a good one.
Bill Hader is great.
Yeah. That's the show. There's been 2 seasons of that HBO. One. And
that's on HBO.
That one should be back soon as well. And then there's also a couple other ones were Shameless, which is another series that I think has run its course.
It's definitely run the course.
But I thought like the first 8 seasons were pretty good. It's like it started to tail off a while ago, but it's like the last few seasons have just been. I mean, it's a shell of the show that it was.
Yeah,
Like,
it's jumped the shark, no doubt.
definitely jumped the shark.
I heard. I don't know if it's. I don't know which network it's on, but I've heard Prodigal Son is pretty good too. I don't know if it's CBS or NBC, and I want to start Mayans too. So
Okay.
Why don't you guys talk horse races? 30 races going off today. I don't know. What race do you want to know about? Tell me. I'll look it up. I'll give you some picks.
Right.
We're generally not a horse racing show. That's why we don't talk about it. But we could. I'm available. Got some time to kill. I don't know. According to these guys, I got 3-4 hours before the cable guy gets here. It's 5:49 a.m. He's supposed to be here at 8. So we'll see what happens.
he's just putting in the cable. Mitch is like, so what do you think about Chinese basketball?
Hey, there's a lot of sim games today, right? So let's. Yesterday, who won the sim game? I have my picks here. I had the Jags. How'd they
The Jets 34-13.
against the Jags?
Yeah,
The Jets won.
yeah, the Jets won.
Okay,
Steelers won 38-10 over the Bengals. The Saints beat the Colts 49-28. And the 49ers beat the Rams 27-13.
all right, so I was 2-2 again. I've been 2-2 the last 3 days.
I was 2-2 as well.
Yeah.
I missed the Jags over by like 2 points. They couldn't score. There were so many chances to get an extra couple.
I had the
points.
Jags and the Colts.
I think I went 4-0 yesterday.
It was 3-1.
So today,
There's a lot of
1
games
Eastern.
today. So what's going on with there's so many games today? It seems like.
So Saturdays and Sundays they do 5 games. They started at 10 a.m.
So we missed the opener.
So yeah, so the first one starts at 1 o'clock Eastern.
And we cover
Giants-
we cover all these at Sports Chat Place. So we're not
Yeah.
selling picks on it, but we do have it covered.
Excuse me.
So for the 1 o'clock game, Giants at Lions. Giants minus 3.5, over under 52.5.
I'll take Detroit money line.
I'll take the Giants.
So it's Lions at Giants.
No, Giants at Lions.
I got the Giants.
What's the spread? 3.5?
3.5, yeah. I like the under 52.5 here.
Eli Manning's
four-
final season of simulated football.
4 o'clock Eastern. Game played in the rain. Cowboys at Jets. Cowboys minus 11, over under 57.5. I like the Jets here.
I'm gonna take the Jets money line. Plus
Jets.
5.
The Jets beat the Cowboys in the real thing. I got the Jets also here.
Yes, we're aware that the Jets beat the Cowboys last year.
That's the hugest value I've seen on a sim pick yet. Plus 535
In the rain.
Worth a shot.
In the rain.
In the rain, geez, yeah. In New York.
So you can get Rod's
worth a
you can
shot.
get Rod's pick for free here, or you can send him $17.99 just for pizza. I have no idea. You gotta buy my sim picks. It's like, I mean, I don't know, man. If you own a business of any kind and you don't have a rainy day fund, it's like, I mean, this is the rainy day, you know, as far as I'm concerned. It's like, I have a rainy day fund for the business, and this is the rainy day. If we have if we have another rainy day in the next year, I'm probably dead in the water, but I'm good on this rainy day for a while. So, it's one thing I have to say about the way that I've run things, and it's like I am, you know, Mondays obviously Mitch Mondays, and it's like, you know, I talk about more stuff like this, but I have to say that I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I've never made any money with the website, right? I mean, I started in 800 square foot apartment in Chicago, and I live in paradise, but so no one's going to believe me, but if I said anything different, but I have to say that most of the money that I've made outside of, like, you know, the house, the car, prostitutes, limo rides, parties, hookers, blow, and that sort of stuff. I put back into the business, or I still have it. Or I've invested in other investments that are, some are illiquid, but others are liquid. And it's like, so I have access to it. So for the rainy day, it's not like, well, I mean, I guess. Are hookers and blow IRS approved entertainment?
We're getting there. I think there's a middle of the table.
I don't know. I had a coupon. I had to use it.
It was going to expire.
Exactly.
It was going to expire. It's like my wife's always mortified. Like when you have to use the card, at the grocery store, to get the discount, even though everybody has the card, right? It's like even if you don't have the card, they punch the card in there for you, like their card, which I don't even understand the system. But it's like they're like, yeah, you saved $4.38, and I always say, I'm spending all of mine on hookers and blow. My wife usually gives me the big eye roll on that one. But usually the cashier will get a kick out of it at least. Mm-hmm. Like, spend all mine on drugs. Anyways. What else we got? Speak
7 o'clock Eastern. Ravens at Browns. Ravens minus 6.5. Over under 61.5.
I got the Ravens
minus 6.5.
The Art Modell Bowl.
Ravens cover.
Even though the Browns have those new uniforms.
Yeah, I got the Browns. I got the Browns here.
I got the Ravens.
And the last one at 10 Eastern. Seattle Seahawks at Minnesota Vikings. Seattle minus 4.5. Over under 58.5.
I'll take the Vikings money line and the under 58.5.
I like Seattle laying the points.
I'll take the Vikings are home.
Yeah,
I got the Vikings.
Under Vikings. Under 2 with Rob.
So what else we got? Hoops? Anything? No.
No, I think the hockey's coming back Tuesday, Wednesday. They're working on hoops.
I like the over in the hockey games. I don't even know who's playing. I'll take.
Yeah, because all 3 sims that they've done so far have all went over.
Well, one had like 20-something goals.
Yeah,
25 goals in the very first one they did. And then the other one that they just did was over in the first period. So, well, I got to fly. I got to get the wife to work. So,
all right, I got the cable guy coming, so I got to get everything ready.
I got lunch to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing.
It's only 5:49 a.m. here. All right.
So,
All right, guys.
have a good day.
We'll see everyone tomorrow. This was a real productive day. We got a lot. I feel good about it. We did.
Oh, God.
It's kind of like how I felt. This is like how I felt. This is how I felt like around episode 4 of Grill Masters. On my Grill Master marathon I had a couple weeks ago. Nailed the brisket.
I got to jump, guys. See you later.
Have a good one.
All right.